Hi Warren, this is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote, and thanks so much for getting back to me. So I figured I'd give you a quick little demo of the site, what it is and how it works, and then obviously what I have in mind with you guys. So Win My Vote, we call it a voter engagement site or a voter, personalized voter guide, but it's much more than that. It's really a platform where voters and candidates and groups and organizations can all sort of meet without that expensive mass media in between. So for example, when we first decided to do this, this was a couple of years ago, I bumped into a lady running for mayor of San Francisco named Joanna Reese. She had spent a lot of money campaigning. I had never heard of her, and I read the paper and I do all sorts of stuff, and I just hadn't really heard of her or knew she was even running, in the race. And I thought, this is crazy. I should be able to go to a place, type my zip code in, select my districts, and have all the candidates right there side by side, fighting it out for my business. The same way, the airlines do on Expedia and, a variety of other things that happen on the internet. Right now, there's no reason why, candidates shouldn't be out there, vying for my vote, right? Trying to win my vote. So we launched with the National Student Parent Mock Election. It's about 5 million students participate per year. And it's 50 million since 1980, but they were completely paper. So we brought them online. We had about 130,000 kids within one day on their iPads and Chromebooks and that type of stuff, and it was a great success and really helped us sort of launch and work some things out. We also did the National Association of Student Council mock election as well, which again, these were great insight to what was about to happen in the real election, because these were about a week or so before the real election, and I can tell you about that some other time. So the way that it works is that you just type in your zip code. No address needed, anything like that. You just type your zip code in here. So this is my zip code, 94116, San Francisco zip code. I'll show you the sign up page. That zip code will place me in these districts, and as you can see here, this is a direct hit on 11 and on 19, and my school district is a direct hit. This congressional district, I'm split between 12 and 14, so I know it's 12. If I didn't, I could go here to this map and I could identify it. As far as my city district, right, again, we're just doing zip codes, so you're going to manually have to go down and say I'm in District 7. Obviously, moving forward, we're going to go to 9-digit zip code, and then we'll think of some other ways where the voter or the user, can sort of not have to put their address in and easily make sure that they're right in the right district. But with that information, we can, create for them their ballot. So for right now, I'll just use the most recent presidential ballot. So here it is right here, and I can scroll down and I can see the U.S. Senate races and the House of Representatives down to the State Senate, State Assembly districts, into the county level races, and then into the Board of Supervisors. And if you remember, I chose 7. That's my district, so I'll see all of these candidates running here. I can even see the school board and then down into the BART board, etc. We also do the state propositions. I'll show you real quickly what they look like. You just get sort of the general summary there. You get groups and organizations that are supporting it, groups and organizations that are opposing it. You'd always start as undecided. And then let's say if you follow Ethan Behrman, which is on KGO, and you want to hear what he has to say about Prop 55, you can just click on that and listen to it.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed propositions. All other states have 2, state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
Right, so he's an example of a trusted source, and you get to select those trusted sources on who you want to know, what they're endorsing, what they're supporting, what they're opposing, that type of thing. And then you would, vote accordingly, right? You check off no, and when you go back to your ballot, you can see here it's nice and prominent that it's a no, and you can also see the percentage. And again, these are left over from the National Student Parent Mock Election, so we didn't use all the propositions for them, just a couple of them. But I'll go back up to the top. So here I can click on the candidate's profile, and I can learn a little bit more about the candidate, right? You know, the basic information here. I can go into a little bit of a deeper dive here with the full bio, and then obviously the main message here, as well as some issue statements here. And you can see these edit buttons are popping up because I'm in an admin mode. But the candidates do build their own profiles, just like they build their own online dating profile or LinkedIn profile or Facebook page. So it's real simple for them to build. You know, and again, I can see the groups and organizations that I trust. I can see their endorsements right here. And again, this is a video, so I can just click through to it.
For the better part of a year, I've been talking about the dangerous and divisive Republican nominee for...
You know, and obviously this is the same way it plays in real time.
Because it's your time, and I hope you'll join me on this journey.
And let's say if I want to go back to my ballot, and I want to give Gary Johnson a try. I've heard of his name, some people are talking about him, so I want to learn a little bit more about him.
I'm Gary Johnson, candidate for President of the United States, and I approve this message. I'm Governor Gary Johnson.
I'm Governor Bill Weld.
I'm running for president.
I'm running with him.
As the governor of New Mexico, I vetoed wasteful spending, $750.
And then again, I can hear it's like Jesse Ventura.
Congratulations on the book. A lot to delve into.
Thanks.
And we'll get to the book in just a moment.
Sure.
But I want to ask you about what happened this morning with Gary Johnson. What was your reaction?
Much ado about nothing.
In what sense?
Well, the reason is Gary Johnson supports full withdrawal from the war. I agree with him. So once you've withdrawn from the Middle East, who's going to care about that?
Okay, and then let's say I watch his issue statements and that type of stuff, and then I want to select him as a favorite. So I just simply click his star here. When I go back to my ballot, you can see he's now turned, this nameplate's turned green. He's moved to the front position. Makes it really easy for me to access on my cell phone. I can also, see the percentage here of, favorites that are on Win My Vote. So I can track it a little bit, and that's great for the candidates. It's also great for people that are supporting the candidates, and they can share with friends and do that other type of stuff. Now, this is not that big of a deal up ballot races because most people know those people. But as you go down into the Board of Supervisors and say, for example, the school board, some of these people you would never be able to do any research on at all. Just trying to find that they're running for school board would be challenging enough. But again, here you can just click on it and hear what this guy has to say.
We live across the street from an elementary school, but the district's assignment process doesn't care. Even though our schools are more segregated today than decades ago, many families have to drive across town every day to get to the best school they could get into, making traffic worse and impacting our jobs. We need to restore San Francisco neighborhoods and let kids attend the schools inside their own communities. I'm fighting for...
Yeah, and I can tell you that was a little bit of an issue with us. We had a middle schooler that we live in West Portal, and we ended up having to drive him to Roosevelt each day just so he could get a language. But anyway, so that's, again, I would obviously do more research before I would favorite him, but I can then favorite him. And, he would move to the front here and his nameplate would turn green. Again, it makes it real easy. Now, there's lots of other features that are built into the site. So I can, check on my voter registration status. I can, check on my districts and make sure those are correct. I can find my polling place. I click here, put the address in, say find my polling place, and that's set up through a Google API that they have, and it starts, I think, a couple of weeks out from the election. It will give you a nice Google map and turn-by-turn directions. I can check on trusted sources and add those, and I'll go over that with you if you're interested later. It's just it's a way for you to go through and select certain groups where you want to see their endorsements. But I can reference important information like when early voting starts and last day to register to vote for this election, those types of dates that you'll need to know. I can add this to any one of my online calendars to get reminders. I can print it out. I can share on social media. I can even create my own group, and make endorsements as well. Again, would love to talk with you guys about incorporating this. I don't want any of your member data or anything else. Our business model is that the candidates pay $100 for a profile per election. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but we're nationwide. We're going to have 300 or 400 ballots. well over 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 candidates. So that should cover stuff that that we need to get covered. And the idea is really that this, Rachel Norton can be the sweetheart of the Democratic or the Republican Party, and they can fund her, $25,000, $30,000 to run for school board, maybe more. Where this guy, can spend $100 or $200, and be on and have a social presence, and reach out to as many people as he can and say, hey, just give me 5 minutes and, favorite me if you like me. If you don't, favorite the next person. But at least they have a shot now, to be heard. So, for me, it just makes sense, to talk with companies like you that want to have that local, engagement and discussion happening. And again, we're real flexible. The win for us is that everybody knows 4 or 5 candidates running for office, and start that dialogue, and that candidates that are unfunded, have a shot. So anyway, hope this all makes sense, and feel free to reply to this or to give us a call at 415-867-9554. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.